I wrote a book. I went and I lived for 7 straight days in 7 different airports without leaving the airports the entire time. It's called Step Back from the Baggage Claim. Changed the world, started the airport. And as just a guy who decided to do it and just go and begin writing this thing without really knowing any of this stuff, to then build that kind of community online and to share this new intellectual property and to be able to share this story in such a quick amount of time, to see it all of a sudden, I think it was like 62 days or something from the minute that I told anybody about it to the time that the New York Times wrote about it. And so I think that in and of itself tells just a remarkable world that we live in today, that all of a sudden you can decide an idea, write a book, throw it out there, start those social media and the online presence, and in 62 days all of a sudden the New York Times knows about you, and it kind of has opened it up to a whole new world. So,
and what platform did you use to publish it?
What platform? Well,
yeah.
You mean, I've done the print, I've done audiobooks, it's on the ebooks. It's, what I found is, how can you figure out every single avenue that you can so that somebody can access your stuff? And so you use all the social media that's out there. You do the blogs, you do the Facebook, you do the Twitter, you do all that stuff. But in the end, it also, I think all of this comes back to the fact of, does what it is that you're writing resonate with anyone? And if it truly resonates with one person, do they choose to then share it with other people? I mean, that's the viral marketing stuff. And what I've found is, somebody at a speech that I gave recently about Step Back from the Baggage Claim stood up at the end of it and said, all right, this all sounds good, but how is it that you get this thing to spread? How are you going to spread it? And I had to explain to him that, first of all, I don't spread it. I'm not the one that decides whether or not it spreads. I'm just the one that creates it, helps take the leap to throw it out there and to share it. But you're the one that decides whether or not it spreads. If the story stops with you, it doesn't spread. But if people choose to share it, which is the way Facebook groups, Twitter, all that stuff grows into the 600,000 followers.
Right. So do you feel that you missed out on anything by self-publishing to being published by a conventional publisher?
No, I don't. The question was, do I think I missed out on anything because I went that self-publishing route versus waiting for a publisher? What I found is that I laid the two things next to each other, and I talked to all the people who gave you all the conventional answers and said to you, this is the way you have to do it. And I kept asking the question that I think is the most important question to ask, which is, why? And the answer that I kept getting from almost everybody was, well, that's just the way it is. That's the way you publish a book. You have to get a literary agent. You have to then put your manuscript in the stack for everybody else to read. And then you have to sit and wait until somebody else validates your work. And I kept saying, especially for what the spirit of Step Back from the Baggage Claim was, which was hopefully going to resonate in all of our lives on a personal level, I said, the content of why I wrote the book is the most important. And so I decided to, instead of waiting for literary agent or publisher over here to validate my work so that you can read it, I decided to just say, well, why don't I see whether or not you want to read it? Right. And if you like it, you'll tell you and you and you and you, and it'll continue to spread. So I saw no... Now, who knows if, as the platform continues to grow, and if there is that then opportunity where somebody says, oh, wow, there's a way to do it even bigger, then, of course, that may make sense. But to get started, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to sit and wait for somebody else when you could actively throw it out there and see if it sticks.